2010, Scott set a new, okay, listen to this, this is crazy. In 2010, Scott set a new U.S. all-surface record in the 24-hour run by running 6.5 marathons, get this, 6.5 marathons in one day. I thought it was going to be a week, I thought that was the typo, but it's a 24-hour run. So we figured out it's like running from here to San Diego and back in a 24-hour period. And he has a memoir. I just got goosebumps. You can eat anything you want. Scott's memoir, Eat and Run, became an instant New York Times bestseller. Of course it did. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Jurek. Come on up.
Thank you. Well, it's great to be here. I had the pleasure of being up in Watkins Glen this summer and took part in the Hoedown. So 2 farm sanctuary events in 1 year, and I just want to thank Gene and his whole staff. They're amazing, and I got a quick little tour, and it's great to see what he's doing on both sides of the country. So as was mentioned, I've run a bunch of races, and I've competed in these crazy events. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to get fit and healthy, not necessarily run ultramarathons, but some of you may want to, some of you have already, but we're going to get you fit and healthy for the holidays. But just to give you an idea of what an ultramarathon is like, the Western States 100, which I've won 7 times in a row, is a... What an ovation. I've never gotten one of those. It's a race that starts in Squaw Valley, crosses over the Sierras, drops down into a small little town called Auburn, California. And it's 18,000 feet of climbing, 23,000 feet of descent. In 2004, I'd been trying for years to break the record, and it's been broken since, but this was the first time I saw the light on the track. It's 15 hours and 36 minutes. So to give you an idea, that's 9:20 per mile pace. That's over, again, rocky terrain and such. Temperatures can reach close to 100 degrees. Another race that I've won a couple of times is the Badwater 135. It's kind of down in your neck of the woods here. It, again, is one of those races where temperatures can reach quite high, 125 degrees plus. In fact, they hold this race in July during the hottest time of the year. That's one thing about ultramarathons is they love to test your abilities during the most difficult times of the year, and this race is held in the heat of July. It's 135 miles on pavement, so most of the stuff I like to do is on trails. This one, again, is just straight on pavement for 135 miles. Starts at the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere, goes to the base of Mount Whitney. It used to go to the top, but the whole idea was you go from the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere to one of the highest points in the lower 48 of the U.S. Another race, the Hardrock 100. Again, the beauty of these events is one of the reasons I love to compete. And a lot of times people are like, gosh, what do you think about? But when you're surrounded by beauty like this in the Hardrock 100, it's 100 miles with 33,000 feet of climbing, 33,000 feet of descent. Average elevation is over 11,000 feet. And you climb a 14er in the process. So it's literally running 100 miles as if you were breathing through a cocktail straw. And then, of course, in 2007, I decided to make it even harder by playing soccer with a bunch of 6-year-olds with a local DARE YMCA program and badly sprained my ankle. So that is a air cast that you see on my right leg. So again, the Spartathlon, it's a race I competed in Greece, had won that 3 times, and it's 153 miles, goes from Athens to Sparta. An amazing route, and again another road race, but it commemorates the route that Fittest took from Athens to Sparta to get a message that Athens was under siege by the Persians. And it is an event that's amazing. Children come out and run with you during the night hours. It's really one of my most special and most memorable events that I've taken part in. And then a race, a lot of people would say, well, Scott, have you gone to the UTMB and run that? It's an amazing race. However, I have not won that one, and it's one that I kind of have some unfinished business with. I've tried to go down there 5 times, and each time finally finished it 1 year. But one of the toughest events, it's held in the Alps and does 100 miles throughout Italy, France, and Switzerland. And those of you, who has read Born to Run in the audience? Okay, a few of you. It's about a trip that I took back in 2006. I went down to run with the Tarahumara and run with this guy here, Arnulfo Kimari, and it was, even though I had no plans on running that race for competition, it really was about exploration. And I think that's why I do these events too, is really to see what my body can do, but also see if I can take my mind even further. And I went down there on a vacation. Chris McDougall writes in the book that I went down there for the greatest foot race known to mankind, and it really wasn't that way. I wanted to just hang out with these amazing people. They literally live the same way, in fact, mostly on a plant-based diet. And the Tarahumara are just an amazing group of people, and running runs in their culture from the age of 2, 3, as soon as they can start running till they can't run anymore. And some of these athletes that I raced against were in their 60s, and you'd never guess it. They hold events where they basically will flick a ball around, sometimes 24 plus hours, and run all night long. And instead of like in the US where we have our party after we finish the event, they have their party before the event and during the event. So basically the town and the villages come together, they bet huge wagers over the course of the event, but it was quite special to get to run with them and really share in the beauty of their land. So I'm going to have you all tell me, because I don't need to tell you about the benefits of fitness and exercise. So I thought we would start off by can I get at least a few people in the audience and get involved here who can tell me some of the physical benefits of exercise? And just raise your hand and shout it out.
Cardiovascular health.
Cardiovascular health.
Lower recovery time.
Lower recovery time. Yes, in the back. Sleep better. Yes. Better moods and happy. And since you skipped ahead, we'll just go right straight to psychological, because you can get, so give me some psychological ones too, and physical ones. Others.
Lowers blood pressure.
Lowers blood pressure.
You look better.
I'm sorry?
You look better.
You look better. Yeah, it's a great one.
Lower stress.
Lower stress. Stress management.
Increased metabolism.
Increased metabolism. Okay. And one more, yes. Best thing for your complexion, blood flow to your complexion. Everybody wants to have healthy faces, right? And what? Bone density. So I just wanted to start off with that because the benefits are endless. We all know we should be exercising. However, the question is, why don't we exercise more? There's a lot of issues around that, and particularly during the holidays. Who has not, gorged themselves in an amazing holiday meal, which is a lot of fun. I'm not bad-mouthing that. I'm not here to make you feel bad for the holidays, but who has, gotten done with this amazing meal, countless parties throughout the holidays, and then after the holidays are over, you have this amazing, depression, and you feel bad. You feel like, gosh, what did I do to my body? I've lost, I've gained 10 pounds in the process. We've all been there. And as an athlete, this is the time I usually take off and I actually gain some weight. I enjoy hibernating during the winter months and taking it easy. So even top-level athletes take some time off. But the holidays are a big time where people just drop exercise altogether. So what I want to do here tonight is go over how you can get started. I know most of you are not ultramarathoners or high-level endurance athletes, probably don't take exercise as seriously as an elite athlete, but there's a lot of things that you can do to get going and getting on the program. So the first off is setting a schedule. The key thing, and with an athlete like myself, and trust me, I'm just like all of you. I started off hating running and hating vegetables, and now I'm an ultramarathoner, and I'm a plant-based one at that. So there's hope for all of you in the audience. So, but the key thing with setting a schedule is it's important to know when you're going to exercise and plan it ahead of time. I think a lot of times people say, well, I'll probably do it after work, or I'll do it after I pick up the kids and drop them off at their post-school activities. But the key thing is to really set that time and keep it as a hard schedule. I recommend in the mornings. In fact, if you look at the research, morning programs are typically the most followed and at least kept throughout a regular course of time. Those that kind of vary their schedule or don't do it in the morning don't typically stick with it. An alarm is helpful. Those of you who wake up with the alarm, stop hitting the snooze button and get out the door on the first alarm. That's always key. Setting reminders, those of you who do exercise during the noon hour or during your break, really, set an alarm or a reminder to get out that door, even if it's midday. Prepare the night before. How many of you set out your workout clothes the night before you go, or get your workout bag ready? It's one of the best ways that you can make sure that you're going to get that workout in, okay? I even have trouble we just had a couple of sub-zero mornings in Boulder, Colorado, and very rare to have this type of weather in November, mid-November at that. And I think one of the biggest things that I've done is just plan on what you're going to wear the night before so that you just throw that on and you get out the door. Of course, classes. How many of you take part in a class, whether it's a yoga class, exercise class, CrossFit? Lots of hands. Okay. Classes, they don't ensure that you will always get there, but when you're paying money and you sign up for something, usually you end up going. So I think it's a great way to make sure that you get exercise in throughout the holidays, not just after the holidays, and keeping throughout the rest of the year. And then lastly, who has a trainer in the audience? Maybe you meet once a week, twice a week, okay? Not everybody has the luxury to maybe meet with a trainer, nor do you like to get punished that bad, but if you have a trainer, the great thing is that you have an appointment typically, and the other thing is when you are working out with them for that half hour, that 45 minutes, you're probably going to do what he or she says. So I think if you have a real motivation issue to even get started, hire a trainer and start off, even if it's for a month, just to get into that regular routine. Okay, next off, find a partner. This is really key. How many of you have a workout buddy? At least once a week, maybe even twice a week that you get out with. Awesome. Family can be a great one. I know sometimes it's hard if your spouse is taking care of the kids or your spouse has other duties. You can't always get together. Exercising as a family unit, get the kids involved, I think is really key in terms of kind of showing that regular activity and showing the regular behavior at a young age and get them into the routine. Because I think we have a real issue in the US here and in the Western world where exercise is looked upon as something that's to be loathed, and we hate doing it. We don't want to take the time. Get a friend involved. If you're new to an exercise program, the best thing that you can do is ask a buddy, even if they are not in an exercise program. It's great to start together, but if you know somebody who might be more fit than you, is say, hey, on your easy day, can I join you? It makes it easier when it's pouring down rain or it's cold and dark and you got to get out at 6 a.m. You're more likely to get out there if you're meeting somebody. A coworker. Those of you who work out during lunch hour, make sure that you find other coworkers who can encourage you and tell you when you're sitting at your desk and it's 1 o'clock and you haven't exercised in that noon hour time frame. You can kind of get that extra little motivation and a little peer pressure. Peer pressure is a great thing, despite what people think. It's great when it comes to exercise programs. The other thing too is a pet. How many of you have animals that need to be exercised at home? Lots of you, I bet. Get them some exercise, and I'm not talking about just a walk around the block, just so they can do their morning duty. Get out there and get your blood, thumping, get that heart going. Don't think of it as just, oh, I just got to walk the dog a little bit. They love to get their heart rates up just as much of you. And I think a lot of people, they play fetch with their dogs and their other pets, but the key is you've got to get that exercise yourself. So don't just run the dog back and forth in the park. Get out there yourself. Okay, multitasking. This is a big one. How many of you commute by running, walking, biking, some form of human locomotion? Okay, a bunch of you as well. I know it's hard in some areas of the country, depending upon where you live. Those of you who have errands that you can do, this is another big one. I like to commonly do errand runs where I literally load up a backpack with things I got to get done around town. And again, it's maybe start and stop, but this can be a fun way too. You can get your intervals in. You can push a little harder on those times where you have the green lights or you have the walk signs. But errand runs, errand bikes can be a great way to get the exercise in. The other one here is how many of you have the luxury of having a stand-up desk or treadmill desk? Wow, I'm impressed. Treadmill desks are quite expensive, but you can rig up your own. There are inexpensive ways to do it, but literally walking, it's quite amazing too. The research that's coming out on walking, basically walking desks, you can get your exercise in, believe it or not, by walking at a pace of anywhere from 3 to 4 miles an hour. And it's surprising, but I've seen people do it. And you can literally do your reading, do your computing while you're on a treadmill. So those of you who must be at a computer 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, highly recommend looking into some type of way of doing it while you're working. The other is watching TV. I know exercise machines kind of come and go, but if you spend time in front of a TV and you don't exercise at all, you can find at least 20 minutes to get a workout in on some form of machine. And then last of all, housework. Now I know this isn't the main form of exercise, but you can burn calories, and this is what's key. You can burn calories doing things around the home, yard work. Husbands and wives, you can get after each other and tell each other to get out there and get some exercise doing stuff around the house. It's actually another great way to get a little exercise in. Okay, get techie. There's so many apps and so many technology devices out there. I don't know if a lot of you have been playing with them, but how many folks own a heart rate monitor? A lot of you. How many use them? That's the bigger question, okay? After a while, you don't have to use them as much, but I saw a lot of hands stay raised after I asked that question, but a lot of folks don't end up using their heart rate monitor. And I commonly, if you haven't used it in a while, get it out and do some higher paced workouts. Use them for some times when you can work out, again, with a friend maybe who's faster than you, somebody who pushes you a little bit. See where your heart rate is. Play with some numbers and games. Heart rate can be a great way to kind of see where you were and setting goals for yourself. So watching that heart rate drop as you get up to a higher pace. There's lots of ways to stay motivated with a heart rate monitor. And of course, if you're new to an exercise program, a heart rate monitor can be beneficial to make sure that you're not going too hard or hopefully going fast enough. Especially if you take your pet out for a walk. Put your heart rate monitor on and see really how much you're getting your heart rate up to.
On yourself or on your pet?
On yourself. That was a good question. He asked should he put it on himself or your pet? Again, don't make your pet do all your exercise for you, yeah. And then track it down on your log. Exactly. GPS and pace devices, these are great little wrist monitors that tell you your pace and speed. So those of you who have always wanted to know how fast you're going, smartphones have great apps too for this, but another great way to stay motivated, to chart progress, see how fast you can keep up an effort, again, related to heart rate, or just, see how comfortable it feels now to run, walk, bike, swim at a faster pace. Tracking progress is key. Again, there are a lot of programs, a lot of websites that do this for you. You have to plug in the numbers, though, but you can really see your progress over time. And I think sticking with an exercise program as an athlete, we chart a lot of things to see, are we making the direction, are we going in the direction, are the workouts providing us with the benefits that we need? And for those of you who are just starting an exercise program or need to get back to an exercise program, you might try using some of these devices, some of the apps. And those who like to look at your calories and what you put into your tank as far as fueling it, this can be a great way too to chart calories in versus calories out. How much are you working out? How much are you burning versus how much you're putting in? Again, apps, just real quick, just because I love to hear new ones, can people rattle off some of their favorite workout apps or their fitness apps that they combine? Strava. It's a great one to be competitive with coworkers, your friends, people across the country. I mean, another good one. Other apps that you're using. Yes. Rock My Run. Music apps, right? So those of you who, again, need to get a little motivation, music can be a great motivator to kind of stimulate the workout. Other ones. Anybody use Map My Run, Map My Walk?
I like Breeze.
What's
Odometer, Breeze.
Breeze?
Yeah.
Breeze is another one, odometer. Nike Fuel, the Nike apps, as well as their Plus system that they have in their footwear. Any others? Yes? MyFitnessPal, another great one. That one also uses the nutrition component, I believe, right? Yep, calorie counter. So there's great ones out there. Ask your friends what they like to use. This is a great way, again, to stay motivated and hit your goals. Okay, I was mentioning setting goals with these apps, with the technology. It's important that you start with a goal. And it can be as simple as, I want to exercise 3 times a week. It can be as detailed as, I'm going to run a 4-hour marathon. Starting the year off and starting before the holidays can be really key in setting those goals. Again, so many people like to wait till after the holidays to set their exercise goals. Of course, New Year's resolutions are a great time, but I think it's important, start setting your fitness goals now before the holidays, and start at least, if you're not going to do the full program and get out 2-3 times a week or whatever you set for yourself, at least get into a routine throughout the holidays, somewhat of a routine, maybe even trying out some of the classes or some of the workouts that you want to do. This is really key too. Put a number on things. Numbers are great motivators. If you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to exercise at this intensity, or I want to get up to a 8-minute mile or a 9-minute mile, putting numbers on things generally work the best in terms of making sure that you get out there and do it. And then signing up for an event. How many of you have an event planned for this upcoming year? Whether it's half marathon, maybe it's a 5 or 10K, maybe it's a bike, century, a lot of you. And I think that's really key too. You don't have to be winning these events. I think just having that kind of motivation, knowing that in 6 months you have to be ready for a marathon or a half marathon or whatever event that you're working towards. Oop. Somehow lost. Oh, there we go. Lastly on this one, adventure goals. You don't have to run in a race. You don't have to bike in a sanctioned event. How about just picking a route? If you've always wanted to bike from here to another city, I love getting on the Pacific Crest Trail and some of the favorite long trails I've done, doing sections over the course of a week. I love picking routes that I've never done before close to my home. So pick something, it doesn't have to be in a sanctioned event. It doesn't have to be a race. Pick something that's going to inspire you to get out there and train on a daily basis. Okay, lastly, I want to leave with an exercise plan. And this is where, the key thing here is, for a lot of you, I know some of you exercise regularly, but if you're just starting out, this is base level, you should be at least doing 30 minutes of aerobic exercise at least 3 times per week. And I know they say 3 to 5 times a week, but at least, I set the bar low here for you guys, so you definitely got to get out 3 times a week. It's a bare minimum, but surprisingly, people aren't even doing that. Those of you who are a little bit more advanced or regulars on the fitness front, of course, 5 days a week is most recommended. If you can do more than 30 minutes, again, I would bump that up. And on the aerobic side, I'm talking about getting that heart rate up, not just walking the dog. You should get the heart rate up to 70 to 85% of your maximum. So those of you who know where that is, that's a really key thing. It's not just getting out and walking a little bit. Although that will help burn calories, it's not going to get your cardiovascular system going and revving. Strength workouts. This is key too. A lot of times people just do the aerobic side of things. I highly recommend that you incorporate some strength. Now, some of you do yoga, some of you do Pilates, some of you do CrossFit, or might do a workout class, some of you lift free weights. Doesn't matter what it is, just do some form of resistance activity. It's good for bone health. We spoke about earlier benefits of exercise, but strength is something a lot of people forget, or they just do one or the other. And that's why I put, if you can get aerobic 3 times a week and strength twice a week, something in that 20 to 30 minute time frame, you're going to have things covered. And then lastly, supplemental activity. Again, these are the things like standing at your desk. There's been a ton of research, a lot of press out on sitting and how bad it is for our health. So the best thing you can do, not everybody can afford a treadmill desk station, but what you can do is get your desk up and start standing at work, even if it's for an hour once in a while throughout the day, even if it's for 20 minutes. But standing alone burns a lot of calories, surprisingly, compared to sitting. So if you're somebody who's really, you're saying, I'm not going to exercise, period, but I want to burn a few more calories per day, just get out of your desk, get out of your chair, and start standing and get that set up. The other thing you can do too is, of course, incorporate housework, yard work. All of these things burn calories. The worst thing you can do, of course, is lay down and sit down. And that's a big issue with our culture these days, is we spend so much time sitting and not upright and doing things with our bodies. So that's why we need to exercise. Modern society has put us in a chair a lot. And that's what I'm going to finish off with here today. And I just want to thank you all. And the last thing I'll leave you with is keep it fun. You know, don't be intimidated by exercise. Exercise is meant to be fun. You can have your goals, you work hard, but at the end of the day, get out and do the things that you love to do the most. Like somebody mentioned about they love getting a new music routine or a new playlist going. Just find those things that are going to keep it fun and get the family involved. Thank you.